talk about this addition problem. So go ahead and solve that and identify what your very first step was. I'll give you just a little bit to look at that. So over here I have some methods. So I'm going to go ahead and move this. On the left side, you'll see there's an initial sequence. So I have a couple examples for that. I have 19 plus 1 equals 20, and then 20 plus 11 equals 31. I also have 19 plus 2 equals 21, and then 21 plus 10 equals 31. And then a final example is 12 plus 9 equals 21, 21 plus 10 equals 31. And these would be considered initial sequence because you're counting on. So you're either starting at 19 or you are starting at 12 and then you count on. So I have a few examples including that. So the last two listed for the red would be considered counting on. And then we'll look at the facile sequence. So a few examples for that is 10 plus 10 equals 20, 20 plus 9 equals 21, or 29, sorry. 29 plus 2 equals 31. And then 9 plus 2 equals 11, 11 plus 20 equals 31. And then 9 plus 2 equals 11, 11 plus 10 equals 22. And then that should be 21. Let's change that. And then 21 plus 10 equals 31. So these are considered facile because you're using a variety of strategies. It might be make 10, it might be chunks, it might be doubles. So for the very last two, it's chunks. So you're just splitting up the numbers into different chunks, and it could be easily taken away, and you would know that number still. And then for the top one, it's make 10 or doubles. So 10 plus 10 equals 20 would be considered a make 10. And it's also a double. 10 plus 10, those are both doubles. And then if we look at the initial sequence, the very first one, it is still initial, but it also could be considered a make 10 because we made 20, which would be considered a make 10. So those are a couple examples that you could have solved. So initial and facile are similar, and some of the examples are similar because just looking at this first one right here, I'll go ahead and highlight it. This very first one would be considered either one. It could be a make 10 or initial, so that's a similar thing that you could bounce your ideas from. It can make 10, or it could be initial where you're starting at 19 and you just add 1 and you're counting on. So that's a similar advantage between the two and how students could connect their ideas. They maybe started at 19 or they just were trying to make a 10. And they're different because like at this very bottom right here, this is 9 plus 2. You're starting off with that, so you're making a chunk. While another student could be trying to make or start at counting on at 19 or 12. So it's just very different mindsets, but you could look at the different examples and the students would be like, oh yes, I could totally see that. That's the second part of my step, and they can compare their ideas and how they were different. So, thank you.